Hey guys, and welcome. We're going to be talking about Shadowlands, WoW Shadowlands, my overall thoughts about it, and stuff I'm excited for, and I'm pretty much just going to be talking about all the panels that they did have about Shadowlands, and generally my opinion towards it. The key word there is my opinion, so you might disagree with me, and that's okay, guys. That's okay. Wow. Okay, so Necrolords. 4 new factions slash reputations is what I'm gonna call them, because that's what they are. You can't trick me, Blizzard. Necrolords are bony people, Kyrians are platy people, Venthyr are vampiric people, and Night Fae are the furries. There will be new abilities based on what covenant you choose to go with. The furries will have... Wow, big shocker. They got a furry form. Increased move speed. Here's the actual overview of all the Covenant abilities. That's the furry one, that's the paladin plate one, that's the bony people, and that's the vampire people. Then there will be class-specific abilities, which is the stuff we actually care about based on what Covenant you do pick. Say if you're a mage, you go with the plate paladin people, you'll get this ability. If you're a mage and you go with the Venthyr, you'll get this ability. The real thing I'm questioning here is if you really only have this one ability to pick if you do go with the vampire people, or if you go with the vampire people if there will be other abilities to pick alongside this one, or if you're just kind of forced to go with this one ability. If there is just one ability you can pick, then it's somewhat misleading. Just a little bit in my opinion, but... it's nice to see them giving examples of the only ability, if that's how it's gonna work. This is the stuff we actually care about here, the talent trees that you'll unlock for whatever covenant you go towards. The example they give were the vampire people, or the Venthyr as they want to call them. 5% increased crit chance and then parry. Say you choose this guy, you'll unlock this talent tree. If you unlocked the Nadgia, horrible fucking name, then you'd have a different talent tree. The one main concern I have is if you go with this guy and you're progressing through this talent tree, say you switch specs and you suddenly want to switch to the female Nadgia, if you do switch to that talent, then will you save the progression you've progressed through Theotar, or will you have to progress through Nadgia completely and have like be behind everyone else just because you chose the wrong talent slash person? I'm guessing, since there is 3 people here, I'm guessing it's going to be split up into a kind of, if you're a tank, you'll choose this guy. If you're a healer, you'll choose this guy. If you're a DPS, you'll choose this guy. I'm assuming that's what Blizzard will do. Cool Covenant stuff. This just smells of pixels and transmogs to me, and this is coming from the guy who transmogs my tunes to look like potatoes. So, weapons and armor, I'm assuming this is just transmog weapons and armor, and if it's actual stat slash stuff you'll equip, then I'll be very surprised, but to me this sounds like transmog. This sounds as it is transmog, actually. Mount upgradable, I don't, what does that mean? Does that mean like the upgrades we give our mounts now? Who knows? Very broad. But to me, I'm gonna write that and chalk that down as just transmog. World benefits, again, super broad. Really could mean anything. Could mean 5 gold for every world quest you complete. Could mean when you complete a world quest you get a little chest. Who fucking knows what you'll get, but hey, we're getting something. Covenant campaign, I hate campaigns. I haven't done the war campaign. I think questing at endgame is silly. Weird take, but that's my take on questing at endgame. Covenant campaign, I'll probably be forced to do it on all my tunes, but you bet your butt I'm not going to enjoy it. You'll be able to build your own abomination bodyguard. This is something I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm guessing it's not directly tied to a covenant, specifically the Necrolords who have abominations, but if you can make abomination bodyguards, if you're with the furry covenant or the paladin covenant or the vampire covenant, it'll be interesting to see just, you know, being in a vampire city and then just a giant abomination just following some dude. Transmogs, sets and back attachments, I don't care about any of these really. Again, I transmog my tunes to look like potatoes, so transmog don't mean shit to me. Leveling improvements, this is the stuff I actually care about. Leveling has changed to 1 to 10. New leveling zone for everyone. Death Knights, Demon Hunters will start level 1, progress to level 10. Exiles reaches the new starting zone with a dungeon at the very end, and then they're like, hey, you know how to play the game, time to send you out into the real world. So, here's like the simplified version of it, I suppose. You're a new player, you start in the new leveling zone, you quest in BFA because you're forced to, I don't know why. Something I don't agree with, and then you'll go to Shadowlands. And then if you're already existing player, you already have max levels, you'll be able to choose between Exiles Island or normal starting zones, and then whatever expansion you want to level in. I'm glad they made this choice, so if you're level 10, you can go to Zangarmarsh, Nagrand, Icecrown, Storm Peaks, Southern Barrens, Silithus, anything floats here. I'm excited for that. One thing I'd like to see is that once you do have one max level at 60 in Shadowlands, I'd like it so if you are level 50 and you have a level 60 on your server, that you can just level 50 to 60 without going into Shadowlands. This is a personal thing. I have 12 max levels. I don't want to level every max level I have through Shadowlands 12 times. So that's the main reason I'm saying what I am right now. Please make it so you can level in other zones to level 60. I'm not going to enjoy it, having to level a paladin through Shadowlands and then a warrior through Shadowlands and a druid through Shadowlands, doing the same quests over and over again, but that's probably what I'm going to be doing. Sometimes the truth hurts. Here's the thing we really care about, and probably the thing I'm most excited about. Class changes. Just abilities coming back. Paladins will have auras. I'm guessing warriors will have stances. Rogues will have poison. Shamans will have totems. Mages will have probably armors. Hopefully DKs gain presences back. Blood, Frost, and Unholy Presence would be fucking awesome. Curses coming back, all that shit. So generally kind of class fantasy kind of coming back this expansion, and that is reinforced from the fact that if you are a mage and you are Frost in Shadowlands, you will still have fire spells and arcane spells, contrary to what is happening currently, where if you're a Frost mage, you only really have Frost mage abilities. Here's something that I think is getting misinterpreted wrong, or they worded so cleverly that they convinced people that these abilities aren't in the game, because it says are returning, but all of these abilities are in the game. Death Coil's just fancy Mortal Coil. Mortal Coil does the same thing as Death Coil, which is why I'm saying it's in the game, but I think what they mean by this is Unholy DK currently has access to Raise Dead, but they'll give Raise Dead to all the specs. So all the Shaman specs will have Frost Shock, all the Rogue specs will have Shiv, all the Warlock specs will have Death Coil. Same thing with these abilities down here, Honor Talents and Talents. I'm assuming all the specs will have access to these abilities, so you'll see Prot Pallies and Holy Pallies throwing Hammer of Wraths instead of just currently only Ret Pallies have Hammer of Wrath, so it's good to see that they're introducing more abilities to other specs. Such as Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark is a marksmanship only thing right now, but I'd like to see the other specs have it, but again, very, very, very broad information on Blizzard's part, most likely on purpose. Here's the stuff we actually care about. Again, long lost friends. Essentially, this is Blizz being like, hey, you know those abilities we got rid of 4 years ago, 4 expansions ago, when we hired new people, and they thought it'd be a good idea to remove those abilities? Yeah, let's throw those back in the game. And so they did. All these are really good. AoE Taunt, Ritual of Doom, summons Doomguard, Kill Shot, which is a Hunter Execute, Shattering Throw, which breaks bubbles. Good to see. Eyes of the Beast, kind of the outlier here. More of a, I'm a 10-year-old, I'm gonna run around and control my pet ability. What I'm trying to get at here is Eyes of the Beast. I don't see any actual use of it compared to these other abilities, which will be used pretty regularly, but in what instance are we going to be like, man, I really need to control my pet right now? I can't think of one. Maybe I'm using Eyes of the Beast wrong. And here's the main thing I'd suppose people are hype about. Tower of the Damned, Torghast. I think this is Mythic Plus and Diablo Greater Rift Love Child with legendaries slapped at the end of it. Yeah. Oh, mixed with the Legion Night Fallen scenario, too. We'll sprinkle that in there. The reason I say that is because it's never ending. From what I was aware of, the Legion Night Fallen scenario did end. I avoided it at all costs, so my knowledge of this isn't that great, but the reason I'm comparing that to this is because there's upgrades you can get, and there was upgrades you could get in the Night Fallen scenario. And it's always changing. I guess that's a big drive home for a lot of people, but I'm more excited for Long Lost Friends abilities than I am the entire system of the new PvE thing to do. You're talking to the guy who absolutely hates mythics unless I really need the armor, so I'm not really the player to play this PvE thing. But hey, legendaries. Legendaries are coming back, and they're targetable too, so that's cool, but I really feel like they're throwing this in Torghast to make people do it. I don't know, I'll probably end up doing it, but I'm not excited to do it, really. PvP vendors. Again, please. Please, Blizzard. I fucking beg you. I really hope you guys put PvP vendors in this expansion, because we have been getting cucked for so goddamn long. Let me know what you guys think about the expansion, and what you guys want to see in the expansion. Personally, I don't have a problem with really any of these things. They all seem pretty decent. Especially the leveling changes and class changes. The other stuff, I'm like, it doesn't, I mean, it affects me, but it doesn't affect the game that much. Like, if I don't want to do the Torghast thing, I don't have to, but then I'll just be missing a legendary. Which is why I'm kind of like, oh yeah, they shouldn't throw legendaries only obtainable through this new system they're introducing, but we'll see. We'll see if they stick with that word. Overall, I'm excited. Class changes are nice, leveling changes are nice. I just don't know what to think of the Torghast thing and the reputations. I like the reputation towns. I don't like the reputation incentives of, here's transmog to get exalted with us, or whatever that idea is. But I do like the talent trees that they're giving. The soulbinds. Other than that, that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of Torghast specifically. Personally, I'm not that excited for it, and I really feel like I'm gonna be forced to do this, but goddamn, I need those legendaries. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, description, bell thing. Till next time.